All right. You guys known about this episode for a couple weeks now. It is now here. Let's kick things off for Mr. Yaden.
Oh, great.
We'll start this off right. Explain
Then you
to
probably
us.
should have started off with me then.
Nah, no, we trust you. We trust you.
That's the first mistake you've made on today's chatcast.
You watch wrestling.
Well, it can't get any worse, bro.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse.
So I have watched you guys. That's why I felt at home here, because it's like I can screw everything up, and it doesn't matter on this show.
Fucking A.
We're not 2000 era WCW. Come on.
All right, Mercury. Talk to us about Rocky Mountain Pro.
Rocky Mountain Pro. We founded in 2010 as NRW Pro Wrestling, and then I left in 2012. I had an internship at TNA, and that turned into a job, so I ended up moving to Nashville. Sold NRW, bought it back early 2013, so the company returned in April of 2013. I think was our first show back. Then I moved back to Colorado in late September 2013. Sold it again, and then started the school January 1st, 2014, as Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. Because then I still wanted to train people, everything that I learned the year that I was able to go work in talent relations in TNA Impact, and then wrestling the indies out there. I got to do a little Ohio Valley wrestling, so I wanted to coach, wanted to train, and I had somebody else running the events at that time. August of 2014, I ended up reacquiring NRW for the second time, and we kept rolling. Moved the school to a place called Grudge Training Center. It was a great MMA training center there in Arvada, Colorado. At that time, in the summer of 2016, Vince Russo, who lives here in Colorado, showed up, and he started working with us. So he started producing the shows. Really liked what he saw. We worked with Vince for a couple years. And July 31st of 2016 was our last show as NRW. We rebranded to Rocky Mountain Pro at Milestone 6. And then August 1st, 2016, we were officially Rocky Mountain Pro. And we just kind of kept pushing forward, got an opportunity for a national TV deal rather quickly while Vince was working for us. That ended up falling through, but we continued to tape it the same way and put it out on the Fight app and other platforms, Impact Plus, things like that. And we just kept rolling forward. And we were then in Golden. We had moved to the Quarry in Golden, which was on the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. So a lot of the stuff you guys have probably seen with the big purple pillars in the background and the bleacher seating, that was all from the Quarry, which was a great TV spot. And then we just recently partnered up with Fast Performance. They have Fast Baseball and Fast Recovery. They're in Denver, moved the school over there. And we actually recorded our first episodes of television from there last month. Actually, no, it was earlier this month. Getting my dates mixed up. Anyway, that's kind of a quick rundown.
It's been that kind of year.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck is a date? Who knows anymore?
We're currently partnered with Twitch. We focus heavily on Twitch. We're very thankful for the platform and the opportunities that Twitch has given us. We do stream our shows live here on Twitch, so our subscribers get them live. They get all the episodes live as their tapes. That's one of the perks of being a subscriber. We also play all of our old episodes 6 days a week, Rocky Mountain Rewind, so you can kind of get a history of the company going all the way back to 2010. So that's a little history on the company there, and we're still rolling strong and trying to adapt to the new way of things and still producing content for everybody, because it's a lot different now than it was 10 months ago.
Having these live stream platforms is huge. You can still continue to make your TV, and as long as people are being safe and following the protocol, you still have an outlet to still get it out there to the people, so they can come across it and actually see it in the time when it's really hard to find anything new going on and people adapting to the times. It's great that you guys had that ability.
We're very blessed to have that, and I've told a lot of people, man, we're so thankful again to Twitch and technology, really, to be frank, that provides us an opportunity to be able to do this. We were doing 2019. We ran almost 90 events, and we did weekly live television every Thursday night. You can still find us actually on Right Now TV, which is a national platform that's in about 12 to 13 markets, I think. And we were actually airing our show live to Right Now TV every Thursday night. So we were a small independent company
Live
taping
TV.
live television every Thursday for 2 hours. I mean, it was a 2-hour show we were doing.
2-hour show.
great.
Wow.
Wow.
And we're a promotion that is
content every week.
It was crazy, and it's hard for anybody to do 2 hours. And we're a school. I mean, we're a training school that has a television show. So for the men and women here at Rocky Mountain Pro to put that together the way they did and have students, I mean, people on TV that have been training for 6-7 months and all of a sudden are finding themselves with spots on the television show. It was insane, like the growth of not just the company, but all of the students and people involved from production to the newest of students. We kind of got ourselves set up for 2020 without knowing it in 2019. So I'm so thankful that we figured out how to do that. You know, 10 years ago, you would have needed a TV truck and all sorts of stuff. The fact we can do it with the minimal equipment that we do have is pretty remarkable. So we're very fortunate that we were able to kind of get 2019 through and get all this practice before we got to 2020 and then didn't have any other choice, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I imagine you could do a lot of the production with an iPhone and an iPad, you know, to help you do
Nowadays.
it. Yeah, when, like you said, 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible.
There was a public access TV truck and wires all over the place.
Right.
I used to run I run a bowling alley here back in Massachusetts. And we ran a local bowling show out of the place. And we did it through, again, the local access with the TV and the wires. And it was a production and a half trying to get it up and together. You're having it live streamed out there instantaneously, live television. It's such, the technology's finally caught up with the ability of what we needed to do.
Right.
And
By the
especially
way,
in these times, it's getting
Mr.
put to the
Fourth
test
Row,
at the
thank you
max.
for the
And
follow
Right.
as well. I think I
it's
missed you.
great
Thank
that,
you, bud.
you know, it was
Welcome to the
accidentally
Death
on
Drop
purpose
Army, and thank you, Jumbo
last
at
year,
Large.
like you guys said, that it all just kind of came together, and now that perfected it for this year when it really became necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Watch.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, so Mercury, obviously Twitch being where you guys kind of have a lot of your base and a lot of your content. How do you think? And you guys seem to be one of the biggest promotions on Twitch, and not some other independents use it here and there, but you guys seem to have a good handle on it. How do you think that's going to kind of change the independent game in you being able to use platforms like Twitch or YouTube or, well, you know, just any type of streaming type platform?
I think it's going to allow us to realize the potential that you have to reach more people and not just rely on live houses. And that's been the big thing with us. Like right now we're doing tapings with no audience. It's just us there. But we know that thousands more can see it when you put it out there, not just on Twitch, but then when we cut edit it and send it to TV and fight and all that. But I think it's going to show these other independent promotions that it is possible for companies with very small budgets and small markets to reach more people that might like your product, but they just don't live near you. And that's the big thing is, you know, you guys, the fact I'm on the show with you guys, like we wouldn't have ran into each other if there wasn't for Twitch and being able to put our show out there. You wouldn't know who Rocky Mountain Pro was because we'd just be a local that didn't put the content out. So it allows us to bring people from not just all over the country, but the world together. And hopefully we're an example to other small independents that they can do that. You know, Devotion Championship Wrestling out there in Utah is doing it. There's several other promotions on here. I mean, of course, you've got Impact always streaming stuff on here as well. Yeah. But you don't have to have a huge production and be a big brand to reach a lot of people. And hopefully they take note of that. We've been very fortunate when Vince was here. Our Twitch partnership began when Vince was here. So Vince had moved over to Twitch, and that's where the introduction was made. And then we started doing work on Twitch and putting everything on Twitch. So we do have Vince to thank heavily for that, making that intro and showing us the platform. So hopefully, now that it's a few years in, I think more independent companies are aware of the fact that Twitch is not just a great platform to be seen, but to interact. And if they take that opportunity to interact with their fans, that's one of the things I think we hear the most when people come in and talk with us, that they get to talk with us. You know, they're not just talking to each other. So when we're streaming the live tapings, between each match, all of a sudden the chat can start talking to the commentary team. We might even have a talent in there to talk to them. There's Discord stuff they can do. So there's an interactivity to professional wrestling now that not just companies like us can take, but anybody all the way to the top. You can live interact with your fans. You can have your own shows on there. And on the flip side, as a talent, as a producer, as somebody trying to make it in the world of professional wrestling, whether you're a referee, a talent, producing, editing it, what great practice and training are you getting here on Twitch when it comes to your character, when it comes to getting yourself over, when it comes to branding yourself, when it comes to reaching an audience? Now you're not just stuck in your own hometown. You can reach the world if you're willing to put in the time. So it opens up not just from a fan's perspective, but from the company's perspective and the talent's perspective as well.
Zack Ryder kind of did that when he opened the floodgates to Vince of what YouTube could be.
Right.
That's how he got himself over, was the whole Long Island IZ show. And I mean, that's kind of what worked for him, and I think is going to work going forward. I mean, it's Twitch and social media like Twitter. We all use Twitter. Twitter's a great way. I've encountered so many new indies just through Twitter and Twitch. So I think it's the future of how we consume our wrestling.
It's the new tape trading.
Basically, it's like the whole next generation of home entertainment as it is. And in this genre of TV, like the professional wrestling, this is the next just step of, like you said, interaction with people who are monitoring chat, other talent that are on the chat while there's a match going on somewhere else. Now it's not just watching, like you said, and just wishing, they would have been cool if they did that. Now you can type it in the chat, this would have been this or that would have been that. And you're just creating interaction and engagement. And that just breeds more and more and more. It's really the next generation going forward of how we interact just with television in general.
Well, you mentioned the tape trading and and stuff like that. You think of how fast this has come around, and 20 years ago when we wanted to work, there was a group. I remember we were NRW in Ohio, by the way. The first group I ever joined was a backyard group called NRW, so that's where the name came from initially. And then I officially got trained in 2001, and we would trade tapes with other promotions just to get an opportunity to work together. And you would snail mail a tape to somebody so they could see what you were doing. If you were trying to get a look from a company, you were sending them a VHS tape. Now you can send a link. Now you can make it so much. So even for moving up in the world of pro wrestling, you're trying to get a look. Well, now you got to compete with the fact that everybody can do this now, so it's flooded. Yeah. So you got to find a way to still make it stand. You can't just send an email with a link and say, "Hey, check my stuff out." But you have the opportunity to be there and get stuff, and that's something we pride ourselves on at Rocky Mountain Pro. Is we want our talent to have great footage, television style, good angles, good lighting, commentary. It kind of will help them stand out and give them an experience and an opportunity to know what that style of wrestling is. That's what this is all provided for so many people trying to come up now is a lot more ease of access to your content, and then ease of distributing that content out, whether it's for fans or for getting looks.